Thank you so much for checking out this free video. If you don't mind, please click like and subscribe. What's the latest with The Rock?
So anyway, yeah, I got asked about The Rock today, so I figured it's as good a time as any. You know, I mean, I think most people know the basic gist of everything. I mean, it's like, it does not appear, now that we are at the point where, you know, you can really look at this WrestleMania thing and you can see, you know, I mean, Gunther and Jay, Cena and, Cena and Cody Rhodes, Kevin Owens against Sami Zayn, probably something to do with Seth, Roman Reigns for sure, maybe Punk involved in that as well. You know, and you know, whatever. But you can see all the key guys are pretty much accounted for. And there's no Dwayne in the mix, and there's no talk of Dwayne or anything like that. I think that it's, you know, I mean, I expect that Dwayne will be at WrestleMania in some form, doing something, but having a serious, you know, 10-minute match or 20-minute match or 45-minute match like last year, you know, that's not, that doesn't appear to be happening. I mean, I suppose he could still change his mind and work his way in. But so essentially, I mean, the chronology of this is, you know, if you remember at Bad Blood, he came out at the end of the show. And I was pretty much told right after Bad Blood, and it's like, you know, someone had brought up to me, it's like, you know, in a very negative term what he did. And I go, you know, why negative? You know, it's like, he's going to wrestle Cody at WrestleMania. And it's like, well, guess what? He ain't going to wrestle Cody at WrestleMania. He ain't going to wrestle at WrestleMania. And they go, what? And it's like Brad Slater and Dwayne both told the company that he ain't going to be able to do WrestleMania. So why did he do this run-in? And it was basically, the people who know this are not happy that, you know, he went in there and stole the end of the show just to do that when, you know, those people that ended the show on the Atlanta show should have been the final thing. But Dwayne gets to do what Dwayne wants to do, and everyone has to live with that. So that was the deal at the time. Now, of course, he always had the chance to change his mind. The story was that he was too busy, but yet afterwards, you know, the same people were just like, yeah, of course, he could change his mind. And it was kind of like, is he gonna? You know, he better decide if he's going to do it, you know, by January, because they got to do a Royal Rumble. And, you know, Dwayne's going to be in the main event of one of the shows, and they have to know that by at least the setup of the Royal Rumble. Well, that's come and gone. And, you know, it's like, I don't want to say it's not going to happen, but it certainly doesn't look like it's going to happen. And there's never really been a time, you know, I mean, there were things that were said and things that have been said to me about how, not so much when I reported it, but about, I don't know what it was. I mean, I reported the thing first, you know, back in, I guess, October, right after Bad Blood, right? So it would have been, I'm trying to remember when, November, December, when all of a sudden everybody started reporting it. And I kind of heard, oh my God, Dwayne's mad that everyone's reporting it. He doesn't want this out. You know, and the person basically said, one person said, it's like, I'll bet he does the show now just because he's so mad that everyone's reporting it. And, you know, I mean, if he's too busy, if he's got other projects, you know, I mean, he's not going to be able to do it. I mean, my gut on him is that if he didn't have other projects, he'd do it. The guy loves pro wrestling. I mean, it's like, no matter what you may think, I can tell you for sure, the guy loves pro wrestling. If he has the time to do it, he sure as hell wants to be part of this period of pro wrestling when pro wrestling is the most lucrative it's ever been. And there's more, you know, there's more money for him to make. There's more money for everyone to make. You know, him doing WrestleMania in the Netflix era, you know, in a big match, you know, it's just gigantic. That fits right into his mentality, you know, being on record-setting shows. You know, WrestleMania is going to set a gate record. I mean, he grew up with, believe me, you know, when it comes to movies, when it comes to wrestling, Dwayne Johnson lives for, I don't say lives for gate records, but it's that's probably too strong. But it is more important to him, I think maybe partially based on, growing up in the business, and the gate being, in his father's day and when he was growing up, it was always, what's the gate? What's the gate? You know what I mean? And that's your measure of success. And then in the movie business, it's the same thing, even magnified. It's like, how much box office are you doing? So he's a guy who lives, like when he came back versus Cena, it was to set records. It was set the pay-per-view record. That's what he was there for, to set the box office record. When he did The Fast and the Furious, it was to do record business. That was like, that was a key part of the goal. So anyway, obviously, Royal Rumble's come and gone, and we don't see him anywhere, and I don't see, like, he basically blew off the Cody thing, which was obviously the planned main event. And then, he left open, there's an open door for Roman. And I suppose there still is, but it sure looks like Roman's with Seth from tonight's show. I mean, I don't see how you get away from that. I suppose you could. But, the gist is that it is very, very likely that he will not wrestle on the show.
If you love this show, you should consider signing up at WrestlingObserver.com. WrestlingObserver.com has every show that we have ever done. Over 15,000 podcasts in the archives, dating back to 2005. Searchable by show, searchable by year. Perhaps the first show you ever watched was 2008 WrestleMania? Well, you can head into the archives and you can find the podcast we did, all built around the 2008 WrestleMania. Every major show, whether it be WWE, AEW, we covered it all. 15,000 archived shows at WrestlingObserver.com. Also, when you subscribe, you get full access to the Wrestling Observer newsletter. There's a new Observer every Friday. And on top of that, we have thousands and thousands of archived issues of the Observer dating back to 1991. So again, WrestleMania 2008. Go to the archives, search WrestleMania 2008, read all of the issues surrounding that show. Of course, Wrestling Observer newsletter, 40,000 words of news and information on pro wrestling and mixed martial arts every single week. New issue comes out every Friday. New back issue comes out every Monday. You also get the discussion board. One of the best discussion boards on the internet. It's members only. If you're going to troll, well, you got to pay to troll, and there aren't too many of those. And if you cause too much trouble, you're out of there. So if you want a great place to discuss professional wrestling, it is the board. Also available as a subscriber at WrestlingObserver.com. The whole package, all of the new shows, all of the archived shows, all of the new issues of the Observer, all of the archived editions of the newsletter, all of the past episodes of Wrestling Observer Radio, Wrestling Observer Live, The Brian and Vinny Show, Figure Four Daily, Filthy Four Daily, The Board, all of it, just $14.99 per month. The full shebang, and you can save a lot of money getting an annual subscription. A full year, you basically get 2 months free. So check it out, WrestlingObserver.com, everything you'll ever need as a fan of professional wrestling. Check it out today, F4WOnline.com.